Hey, what's up, everybody? BDF44 coming into another video. All right, so um, I feel it's right to comment on what took place in Buffalo. Um, it's tough, man. First of all, condolences to each and every family, each and every person who's affected by what took place there. Um, my prayers are going out to you guys, and I will keep them prayers coming. It's hurtful, and it's not surprising that a man was online for months, according to what it is that I've read, plotting and planning an attack um, on the city of Buffalo. His intention, from what I understand, all of this is from what I've read, was to go there, fully armored, body armor, fully armed, and kill as many African Americans as he possibly could. He went to a predominantly black neighborhood in Buffalo, 85% black. Went to a grocery store and shot up targeted elderly women, basically. Targeted elderly African American women, from what I understand. Killed a off-duty police officer, a retired police officer who was working security there, who was able to get a few rounds off, but unfortunately the man was wearing body armor, so the return fire ended his life. And you just think about all these different situations in that one moment where he's sitting there live streaming this. I didn't see the footage, not looking for it. Um, Live streaming this and just going about it the way that he did. 10 people lost their lives. He was arrested, and we'll be awaiting what's next, I guess. There are a lot of people who are going to be upset at the fact that he was taken alive. I am one of them. I'm not going to even bring up everything that has to do with anything else. It's the fact of the matter is, it would be nice if one of these mass shooters would get the same treatment as a knife wielding homeless person. That's all I'm saying. It would be nice. Being that he came in there fully armed with a bunch of illegal weapons, fully intent on killing people. Um, this takes me back to many incidences that you hear about, where situations like this happen. You think about um, the church, where that one individual came in there, sat there for a couple hours, prayed with those people, and then proceeded to start shooting them all. You think about what happened in just various situations. I think about Sandy Hook. These are not, racially motivated in that case, to my knowledge. Although, if I'm not mistaken, Sandy Hook was a school. He was targeting children. It's been different situations. We've seen synagogues attacked. We've seen people go to just where they find people who can't defend themselves. And it's very hurtful to see this happen over and over again. You live 37 years, you see this happen so many times. You just like, man, it never quite becomes something that you get used to. Honestly, not in my head. And so now you start looking at the aspect of it that you hope could start getting some real traction, and that is paying close attention to these type of situations as it pertains to uh, active shooters. They pay a lot of attention. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of attention paid online to people who are offenders, but I think they focus on the offenders who are not focused on killing black people. If I'm being completely and utterly bold and honest with my words, they don't. And this is just my thought. This is my opinion. They tend not to focus on the things they should be focusing on. They tend to focus on the things that they probably should let go. And when I speak of they, this particular thought is about Facebook. This one's particularly about Facebook because that's the forum I'm on the most. I don't frequent Twitter very much. Reddit I only go to once in a while for stock stuff. But Facebook is the one that I'm on all the time. That's the one that I find myself getting censored on for random things that don't have anything to do with anything harmful. Get censored for commenting on a comedy skit saying somebody deserved to get their butt whooped because they said a joke. Not necessarily saying that I actually want them to receive physical harm, but that's like saying they a dang fool. That's a joke for they're very, very funny, and I'm amused by what they're doing they need to stop because this is a slap on the knee and I'm laughing. That's what that actually means, and you get censored for stuff like that. But then you go on these Facebook stuff, you see inappropriate pictures, you see stuff that's not promoting positivity, you see violent images, you see all kinds of stuff. It's just like, all right, are we focused on censoring people who are harmful? Or are we focusing on censoring people who offend certain other people that we don't want to be offended? And that's the focus. It's like, it seems to me that the interests of the censors, whomever they are, they're more focused on making people feel comfortable rather than actually making them safe. And that takes me down a rabbit hole that's beyond my understanding, but that's just what it looks like on the surface. It just seems like they're more focused on keeping the voters' interests, whoever the voters are, keeping their interests in the forefront of their mind, rather than covering the holes that are biggest, covering our weakest defenses. That's that type of thing. Covering our backside in ways that really helps the everyday person. And right now, when you look at what happened there in Buffalo, clearly more attention needs to be focused on domestic terrorists and white supremacist terrorists. They'll throw RICO cases at, mob bosses and gang members and, people who are manipulating the stock market. They'll throw RICO cases at all kinds of people who mess with money. You understand what I'm saying? If you're messing with money, you're making money they can't tax it. You're making money they can't get their cut from. You're making money off of something they didn't sanction with their boys to say it's okay, so they can flip some money to that person so they can give them a grade. It's so much corruption. It gets to a point where it's like you clearly see the only thing they're trying to cover is their own interests. Clearly see they're only trying to make the people happy who they're concerned of pissing off. They're not interested in making anyone safe. And I say this and I mean this. The people who are alive today, every last one of us, if we're not wealthy, they're trying to drain from us our life force, whatever that may be. Your work, your ideas, your consumer habits, your rhythms, your tastes. They want to learn all of that, take all of that from you, and bury you in the ground. Get the new people that you're going to make and apply what they've learned to them from you. That is what the plan has been. That's what I'm gathering. That is what this entire time is about. They don't care a thing about anybody who's alive right now at all. They're interested in keeping you working, making money for them, having you flow your money in different directions they want you to flow it in. And they're going to keep the people who they need to keep happy. If you're a racist and you are worried about African Americans coming into your town or Mexican people coming into your town, they're going to do everything they can to make sure that you believe that that is not only possible, but that they are doing something about it simultaneously. That is what they want. They want you to be afraid. Not safe, but afraid. Afraid to the point that you believe that they're going to save you, to stand underneath their umbrella for shelter. That is what the point is. While they do whatever they want to do, rounding you up under that umbrella. That is what I see there. So for all of those who are really amused by the partisan divide in this country, understand that it is why that man was able to walk into that building with those guns and that body armor and shoot all of those people. Because it's clear to me that if their interests, those who are supposed to be watching and keeping an eye on these people, if their interest was wrapped up in African American people feeling unsafe, they would have rounded up every last KKK member, skinhead, or any other racist form of white supremacists in this country, and they would have them all in jail to ensure that we were safe. That's what they would do. If it were in their best interest, if black people had the majority of the wealth in this country, they would be rounding up any and all threat to keep us from feeling unsafe, or they would be trying to get the money out of our pockets. One or the other. A little bit of both, probably. But the point is, the guys would be, black people, don't worry. As long as you stand under our umbrella, you're safe. Well, guess what? It's not black people that they're interested in, of course. It's everyone else. It's the grand majority. And the grand majority tends to have a united look. Doesn't necessarily mean it's all like how they feel, but this is how they're presented based on those who are all of this looks this way, is what I'm saying to you. They only care about what matters to them. And their focus is to assume and believe that the whole world is like them. And if you didn't get to where they are, it's because you didn't do something right. Or if you don't have what they have, it's because you're from a place where bad things happen and you should just fight your way out of it because you see other people fighting their way out of it, and too bad. Life isn't fair. Like, that's how they treat us. And it's like, okay, the grand majority is in that position. So what are the people who are in power going to do to cater to that, to acquiesce to that, to try to manipulate those people, right, into being what it is that I just described, ever paying into their bullcrap, always being quiet and just feeling safe while they're actually not? Yeah, you're going to ignore the white supremacists online, ignore all the nonsense that goes on about threatening people that don't look like people you're concerned about offending, and you're going to focus on stuff that doesn't matter, like, at all. Let's round up a bunch of street thugs, get them out of here, send them to jail forever because they tried to kill each other. Like, what does that do? What does that do? I'm talking about making the streets safer. As long as poverty's in the streets aren't safe. As long as there's desperation in the streets aren't safe. You round up this generation of desperate people, and the next generation of desperate people will jump right off the porch and pick up right where they left off. And you know it, and I know it, because we've been watching this movie for over 100 years. So the idea that they're focused on actually stopping crime is a joke. They're focused on distracting the people that are paying attention to them, hoping that they'll do whatever it is that their interest wants them to do. You see what I'm saying? That's how it looks. This is where it looks. That's what it looks like from here. So when I see a white man walk into a supermarket with a bunch of guns, shoot up a bunch of people, and walk away with cuffs on, and not a scratch on his head, and then I look up a week earlier and I see one of my favorite rappers get charged for a RICO when all he's really accused of doing is talking, like literally talking. Basically, all I've read, and I follow that story, the most this man did was open his mouth, say some things he probably shouldn't have said. That's it. The people around him were doing all kind of stuff. But as of yet, the worst thing the man did was rent a car and say some stuff that probably shouldn't have came out of his mouth to some people who probably would do some serious stuff. And so, does he deserve to go to jail? Probably. I'm not going to sit up here and say he doesn't. But the focus is him and what his people are doing. When you got people like that running around in the backwoods planning stuff for weeks to shoot people, old ladies. You scanning the internet for Young Thug, and you got this idiot sitting there plotting on shooting up all kinds of stuff. This is what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. And you want a black person to sit here and just not feel no way. Nah, we're not supposed to say Black Lives Matter. That offends the grand majority who don't give a crap about us. You know, it's like, what do I care if they care? Do you understand what I'm saying? Why do I care if you care that I kneel when my brother's outside getting shot up? When my grandmother's at the supermarket, can't even go to the supermarket because she gets shot up. And I'm supposed to care at all that you're offended by my confidence? You see what I'm saying? And it's like, where does this energy go from here? Y'all done blackballed Colin Kaepernick, made him look crazy, and blackballed all these other people, and put us in a position to feel as if we're not supposed to matter. And then when we say we do matter, we get hell for it. We go through all kind of stuff for generations, and still unsafe, still unloved, still unrespected, still looked at like we supposed to be accepting of all of this. Or like every group who's popped up since we've been here is more focused, is more of a focus than our safety, when we've been dealing with y'all for 400 years. No disrespect to nobody else. I want everybody to be safe. But there's something called fairness and pecking order. And in all other walks of life, we make sure that whoever gets the shortest stick gets the last. Whoever gets the biggest stick gets first. Is that not how that works? Isn't that how that is? Isn't 1 + 1 still 2? 1 - 1 leaves you with nothing. Isn't that how that works? So how is it that we've taken on so much hell, hate, and evil and still come up on the last end of the stick. It's come up short. We're the ones getting the worst in terms of when we do something wrong, we get punished the hardest. We're the ones that have the least. When it comes down to it, we get no love for a lot of stuff that we don't necessarily deserve no love for. Provide all this damn culture, provide all this stuff for you to enjoy and steal from. And you don't see the value in at least allowing us some respect. At least we'll earn our damn keep. We built your damn country. We can't get a little respect. When somebody comes in and shoot up our grandmother, we can't get at least a bullet in the fucking head. You shoot me if I wave a gun at somebody. I ain't got to even be close to him. I ain't even got to have nothing in the gun. You shoot me. But this guy walks away free. Or rather goes to jail or goes to Burger King or whatever it's going to be. I'm sorry, man. It gets to a point where a black person don't want to be quiet. We don't want to sit up here and say, damn, what is the white person that's on the other end of this going to think of what may sound like irritated black person rhetoric. I'm sorry, people are dying, man. I don't care. No part of me should care. It shouldn't be about how offensive or how brazen what comes out of my mouth is. It should be about those 10 people who passed away and how that FBI wasn't paying no attention to them. No attention to them. What were they looking at? If you're scanning online, if you got people whose business is to scan the internet for stuff like this, where are they? I don't want to be nice. You understand what I'm saying? Nice ain't getting us nowhere. Being mindful of how people feel about how we speak about our lives being lost is not getting us anywhere. It's not. Because every time we look up, we're being told, oh, it's going to be okay. Here, we'll put this on the floor. Here, Black Lives Matter on your basketball floor. Here, we're going to put it on the floor. Okay. But when stuff like this happens, what happens? What's going to happen to this dude? Is he going to get life? I already look on the forums on where everybody's speaking, and of course they're saying, mental illness. Hey, I'm a balanced mind. I absolutely think he's mentally ill. I'm not one of those people that think a person can't be have premeditated thoughts and those thoughts not be ill. A person can be intelligent and absolutely and utterly crazy. It's not a thing. So yes, is he sick? Of course he's sick. The choice of him to drive 3 hours to go into that place with guns and all of that to shoot at old ladies, hell yeah, you're out of your mind. Yes, 2 things can occur at once. However, him being sick does not mean that those who are supposed to be stopping him did a good job. That doesn't mean that he should be given anything less than the harshest possible penalty for what it is that has been done here. Because it was premeditated. Because he did kill a bunch of people. Some of them probably were, well, maybe they didn't have mental illness. It doesn't matter what their mental state is because they're gone. That's why his don't matter. See what I'm saying? That's how you got to handle that. You can get him some help. You can get him all this and that and third, but just make sure he's in that damn chair getting that electrocuted at the end of it. Make sure he's getting that injection. Just like you would do Young Thug if he killed a bunch of people. This is ridiculous, man. I'm tired of it. It's not even about what happened yesterday necessarily. It's not about racism, all of this stuff. That's not where we are. We're talking about today. We're talking about people blowing smoke up our backsides telling us that they care about us after telling us that we shouldn't even care about ourselves. Then we look up and we still see situations like this happening. And it's like, look, if he didn't do this online, if he wasn't up here streaming all of this, if he didn't have all types of evidence leading up to this, that this was going to take place, I wouldn't have as much to say. If he would have been quiet online and just walked in on a random day and did all this with no cameras or nothing, how are you stopping that? You're not. But he was doing this online. He should have been watched. He was saying keywords. He was tapping into different white supremacist nonsense online. He should have been watched. You watch everybody else. Sex offenders, bad guys of drug dealers, y'all will tap the line of any and everybody. But let it be some dude in the backwoods talking about killing a bunch of black people. You won't even tap into his nonsense. And if you are, it sure doesn't show. Where does it? We know that there are millions and millions of individuals who are a natural threat to people of color in this country just off of the sheer color of their skin for no other reason. You know these people exist. Are you watching them? Or do you not care because they're not a threat to the grand majority, of whom does not care about anybody other than themselves? If it isn't true, prove it. If you're on the other end of this, prove it. Don't sit up here and get offended. Do something. That's the point. I don't need to think of the one white person that I can think of that would give a damn about what it is I'm saying. I need the rest of them to be motivated by him or her. That's what my black self is telling you. If you didn't like what I said, do something. Say something. Post something. Call someone. Do something. Because as I can tell, until y'all do something, nothing's going to happen. That's what history tells us about all movements in this country in regards to people of color and disenfranchised individuals. If white people don't care, nothing happens. Because the only people, those who are watching out, the ones who are looking out, they're looking after your interests. So if your interests aren't wrapped up in our interests, we're not going to have anything. That's why it's important for African Americans to look forward into where we are going. Is this land for us? I don't know. When I think about Kendrick Lamar in Ghana, I think about I should probably be there. I should probably be there. Because as long as I'm here, I'm surrounded. If you really want to know what it is, black people, if you really want to know how it feels to be me in this mindset, I feel surrounded by the enemy. I felt that way my entire life. It's kind of why I stay to myself, to be honest with you. Because I know I'm surrounded by indifference. People could give one care about my life, about my well-being, about whether or not I'm able to be treated fairly. And they don't care, bro. The few who do have very little power, and the ones who are in power that care, it's not within their best interest to ruffle feathers in a lot of cases. We're all bound by one thing, and that one thing is taxes. It binds everyone. They will send you to jail if you mess up on your taxes. So that keeps everybody honest to a degree, especially those up top who have a lot to lose. It's something I understand. They're gonna bind you if you care too much. They're gonna use your sins against you. They're gonna watch you, see what you do in the shadows, and keep you quiet because of it. I know they're doing that to certain people. I know it. That's why you got to take care of your home. Take care of what you're doing, man. Keep discipline in your life so you don't lose leverage in this world. A lot of people, they let their house get out of order. And then those that they end up going against, watching them. And what ends up happening? You have to shut up. Because the moment you open your mouth, whatever you're doing gets exposed. It's a lot of that going on. It's why change is so slow, if you want to know the truth. That's exactly why change is so slow. Progress doesn't have to come slow because money moves fast. Power exchanges instantaneously. So why does progress have to be slow? Because politics are compromised. That's why. I've known that my whole life. That's why I speak the way I do. So, look, I've said all I said to say this. Rest in peace to all who were lost. I'm angry. If my thoughts come off as terroristic, it's out of pain. I don't intend to harm anyone. I don't want anyone to harm me. I don't want to go to jail, and I don't want anybody who's not guilty to be looked into. But there are a lot of people y'all need to be looking into. That's what it really comes down to. This man was online illustrating all that he was planning on doing. He took himself and his phone to the location for 3 damn hours. Took 3 hours to get there. Y'all could have had someone meet him there if you would have been keeping an eye on him. If you would have tapped into his phone when he said certain trigger words that are not trigger words, because if obviously they were, you'd be watching him. then you would have known exactly what he was up to. You would have been following all the transactions for how he got his guns, his armor, and all of that. You would have had people in place to intercept him as he arrived there or catch him before he even leaves. That's what you do with everybody else. What happened when O-Block was trying to run out the house and kill FBG Duck? Y'all got footage at every light. Y'all got footage of them coming down the stairs in a building. Got footage of them getting into cars, driving and past every light, getting into. They got the whole scene. They could see the whole scene. The whole murder. They could see it all. From where them boys left to where they got to and back. They see it all. And you telling me you can't stop this fool from going into a grocery store? Lies. And then it gets to a point where you start really getting wacky. Like a mind like mine get even wackier. Like I start thinking people actually send people to do things deliberately. For demonstration purposes. I don't go that far into it because that's baseless. But the point is, one could come up with such things based on the environment of such behavior. The environment of such nonsense. You could come up with stuff. You can let your mind go all kinds of far. And that's the point. Where does it end? Where does corruption end? Are you sending these people? Are they yours? Why wouldn't I think that? And see, for a lot of people, you're like, Brandon, that's so extreme. Nah, I'm a descendant of a slave. That's not extreme. See, for a lot of people, I don't know how they view this because they're so far removed from it, right? That's not their reality. Some of them don't know about it. Some of them didn't watch Roots. They wouldn't, you know what I mean? Whatever. It's not real to them for whatever reason. I'm not one of those people. I truly and literally believe that I'm surrounded by the enemy because of the history that actually took place. That never leaves my mind at any second of a time. Never. And the beauty and the curse of what it is that I am is I am too slave master as well. I got a lot of white in me as well. I feel it all. I feel the sins and the burden at the same time on my spirit. I do. Native American too, so I feel that burden as well. Took my land. I feel it all. You see what I'm saying? I feel it all. And so when we sit up here and have these type of conversations, it's not just me thinking out. No, this is my heart talking to you. I'm angry. I'm going to stay angry for the rest of my life. My spirit is going to be angry longer after I'm gone because of what you've done to all of my people. Both ones that look like me and ones that don't. I think about Caucasian individuals like John Brown. Abolitionists, crazy, murderous, but on the right track as it pertains to protecting me and my interests and my people and my great-grandmother, great-great, you know what I'm saying? We need people who are a bit more, less violent than Mr. Brown, but it's just as serious about protecting people that don't look like him. And it doesn't stop with white people doing that. Black people, we got to do it too. We got to. We can't be just, it's all good when other people getting screwed up. That's why I spoke so highly in regards to what took place when we left that war. Homeboy and those kids were falling off of that plane. I never forgot about that. I'm not going to let anybody forget about that. We left them in a way that left them unsafe, killed people in our extraction from that war. And as far as I can tell, that too was something that should have been met with some type of punishment. I don't know if it should be that person or this person. Whoever needs to answer for that should be answered for that. Lives were lost in that situation. But the point I'm trying to make is it ain't just about me and my interests. We can be an asset to everybody's problems. We can be a solution to your problems as we have. You know, we are good for this world. Black people are. We're not a nuisance like we're painted out to be in this country. And if you pay attention to what we've produced, you can clearly see that we are special. It's not a joke. It's not a game. It's just a fact. Look around. We're doing stuff y'all ain't doing. It's just a fact. Hate me for it. It's the truth. What I'm saying is we're an asset. We should be protected. We should be valued for the things that we provide, no different than anyone else. But that we provide so much should be given its proper value. Entertainment, sports, art, street signs, all these different inventions that you don't have without us. You're not as safe in this world without black people because we've created things that have made you safer. You drive safer, you move safer, you clean safer. We've provided those inventions from the greatness of our hearts and our minds. You love us for it, but not well enough to see us survive and thrive. It's a fear that with so much power already naturally given to us by the sun, that if we also get the wealth, you'll never see power again. That's the fear I believe is out there. Even though the grand majority is the folks, the melanin, that harbor the most ability to survive on this planet. We can stand in the sun when it's 110 degrees and it won't kill us. That melanin is valuable. That is a fact. It's valuable. If they could extract it and put it in themselves, it would lengthen their lives. So let's really talk about what it is that you hate. Let's really talk about why you don't value us. Let's really talk about why you don't want us to value our lives and kneel. Let's really talk about why you'll let that man walk into that restaurant, that supermarket and shoot up those ladies. Let's really talk about it. Because there are things that contribute to the jealousy. The jealousy, the institutionalized, as it seems to me, jealousy. That comes with not protecting black people. I'm not here to belittle nobody. Where much is given, much is expected. For all I know, because we have this melanin, this is why we treat it poorly. It's why God allows us to be so few in number in this place. It's because we've been given so much. It's because we can survive those things. But much is given, much is taken, it seems to. Sad, man. It's sad. But at the end of the day, New Thought is here. We will not sit back and chill. We're not afraid of our own interests. We're not scared of what's going to happen. I'm not afraid to die. None of that. What I'm afraid of is 400 more years of like what we've just seen. Of having children in this generation to be consumers and whatever it is that you're going to turn them into. That's what I fear. As far as I can tell, my life's halfway over anyway. I'm already almost 40. I ain't never been married to life that way, to be honest. I've been more so married to the things that I see around me that I'm not so pleased with. And the notion that those things deserve to be changed. This being one of them. So, let's put this out there. KKK, white supremacists, any form of that type of white supremacist racism is terrorism. It is terrorism. No different than any other form of terrorism that you guys like to talk about. It's terrorism. Anything less than treating it as such, it's helping it along. You are in support of it as far as I can tell. So, I don't think that's a declaration of any kind. I think that's more than obvious for those who want to see it that way. And I'll tell you something else since we're talking freely. I want people of other groups that are focused on to speak up for us, no different than you would like for us to speak up for you. Whether we do it or not. Whether we do it or not, stand first. Be first. Why does everybody have to wait for somebody else to give a damn? Start giving a damn. There's a reaction to that. It's called giving a damn. Someone has to be first. Everybody's sitting around waiting for somebody else to do something. No, it's got to be you. As I said, if you felt offended by anything I said, do something positive in response to it. That's all I'm asking. Because it ain't my intention to offend, it's my intention to protect. And if it means offending to do so, it's the way it has to be. Because we're getting slaughtered. And they focusing on us like we're doing the slaughtering. They throwing us in jail for being at odds with one another. Not for being at odds with you. Not for knocking on your door, coming through with guns they're trying to take from you. They mad at us for being mad at each other. You ain't even over here. That man had to drive 3 hours to get to a black neighborhood. He ain't even over there. Why y'all so focused on what's going on in our neighborhoods as it pertains to how we treat one another, but you can't protect us when it's time for somebody to come kill us? Tell me the answer to that. I know you can't. You know why you can't tell us that? Because the answer is racism, and ain't nobody gonna admit that. It's racism. Why racism? I don't know. My theory is jealousy. It's always been my theory. They hate us for reasons that ain't got nothing to do with nothing other than they hate what we're able to do. That's how I feel. I don't know what it is. For all I know, they think it's their right to God that they hate black people or something, some weird demonic lie that they believe in. I don't know. But it's going to bring them the energy that they've been waiting for, and for 400 years it's been piling up. So it's coming. All I'm saying is this. This is coming to an end. All that I've been talking about, it ain't going to keep going like this. Just keep watching. I know a lot of people don't believe in God, but he exists either way. It's true. You don't have to believe in him for him to be real. He's real. And whatever form he is, I ain't here to argue that. I don't know that. But that there is an entity that created all of us and is not pleased with some of the stuff that's going on, yeah, that's a fact. That's a living fact. Give it some time. Science will come around to proving it eventually. It's real. Probably already have. They just don't want people to know it. But I'll tell you this. Those people can't bring them back. And for that, the person who killed them needs to go. BDL 44, thank y'all for watching. I'm out.